All right, the watch list for August 31st, which is Wednesday, last day of August. Nothing going on here. Interesting on the SPY, just chopping, very, very low volume. Um, and this week is extremely boring because I believe because it's Labor Day on Monday, so a holiday weekend. I think most of Europe takes August off, and you can just feel it out there. There's not a lot of movement, so lower your expectations a little bit this final week of August, and we get through Labor Day, and probably next week will be slow, and then maybe volume can pick up a little bit. So in the meantime, let's just keep doing what we're doing. All right, you got a watch list. I like the fact that SPU ran from 6 to almost 11, and you have a nice red day, nice partial retracement. That's already a good setup for a potential turn higher. I don't know what I just did there. A potential turn higher on Wednesday. If not, we'll watch it on Thursday and so on. Just to give you an example of the type of trade that I consider taking, because a lot of people email me and say, well, you always say if it gives you an intraday setup. So I've got an example from yesterday. NYMX, let me take today's red candle out of it. And this actually coming into yesterday, this is what it looked like, right? You had this huge move, 2 red days, so it was on bounce watch. All right, so then the day after those 2 red days, this is what it looked like. It opened here right around, right below 390, put in an intraday kind of cup and handle, and I actually called this long right here if it broke this little flag, thinking it would get through the high of the day. I made 2 calls in, and this was yesterday. So we got along here and scaled out some in case it didn't break the high of the day. And guess what? It didn't, but it flagged. All right, this is a beautiful intraday cup and handle on a stock that had a huge move and then 2 red days lower. Look at it on an intraday basis. This is I called this over the microphone in chat. I said, guys, you have almost the perfect setup for NYMX, right? And so I called it long if it broke this flag. I was on the mic. I said, if this gets over this flag, you're going to light up the new high of day ticker. It's had a couple red days after a huge move. Perfect setup, right? So you buy the flag break, stop below the flag. It was like, I don't know, 15 cents risk or something, 390, 375. And look at the volume that came in here. Look at that. So we got long literally right here. And next thing you know, it rips to over 420 on 500,000 shares in 2 minutes. And we're just scaling out. Now, if you're a day trader, you understand how much money can be made if you have any kind of decent size. And when you have a really good setup like that, you can take some size here and then just start scaling out. Right there, you can make 2 days worth of potential profits, right? Or your profit goals. All right, anyway. So that is an example of what I try to find on an intraday basis, and that is why SPU is on watch, okay? Had this huge move back here. You had this crazy move that just frustrated shorts to death, and then today it gaps up and sells off, but it's setting up kind of like NYMX, so keep this one on watch, all right? EGLE, kind of the same scenario, but not really. EGLE had this low float rip, but now it's almost round trip, so I'm going to watch it, but with a lot less excitement than that SPU. And speaking of NYMX, I'm just throwing that back on watch again because you had the high, lower high, lower high, lower high still. I don't like the fact that it's immediately right back down to the recent lows after the pullback, but maybe one more red day certainly could get another pop just like the one I showed you, so I want to keep it on watch. KONE, another low floater that ripped from 513 to 724. I actually had a nice trade in this one today. Got over $1,000 off of it thanks to Jane and her great alert. Jane over there in the UK is one of our favorite members in the chat room. She's always posting great setups. So thanks to her, I had a nice trade in it. And it's interesting, it closed green after that pop, although it gave some of it back. So from from 5 to 7-ish, and then you have a quiet inside day that closed green. This one has a potential to rip higher tomorrow, so I want to keep that one on watch. RIGL, just a crazy breakout today. And I missed it. I didn't catch any trades in this one. I did see it setting up, and just it happened too fast, and I missed it. KPTI, I want to watch that one if you pan out. Really big volume day today. Might have a second day play in that one, just like RIGL. I'm just looking for a second day play. Maybe a red to green. I don't know. I have to watch these things set up. ATMR. Not a lot of history to go on here. It looks like a recent new issue or maybe a spinoff. I'm not sure exactly. But that's a huge move on the biggest volume yet since the IPO or whatever happened there. So I want to watch that for maybe a red to green. Now, it's easy to look at that and say, well, you're chasing even looking at this long. But sometimes you get 2 or 3 days out of these. So, again, as I just showed you on NYMX, I only take these things with a proper intraday setup. I'm all about low risk. I told the chat room members this week, I did some thinking, and I realized this whole summer I don't think I've ever been underwater in a stock over 60 seconds, and that's just because of my trading style. I wait for the right intraday setups, and if I don't get one, I'm just in cash, right? If I do get one, a really high percentage of the time, they give me a nice pop right away because I buy them at these inflection points. And if they don't, within 30 seconds to 60 seconds, I'm back out anyway because it still gave me a signal. It didn't do what I thought it would do, right? And that's still telling me to get out. So I don't hang out in anything that's not working, and I try to find the entries that should work right away. So that's in a nutshell my trading style. THLD could not get going today, but it's still in a very beautiful flag. So I don't really have any kind of trigger price except 113, a break of today's high. Could break this 114 high, which could break this 120 high. So you have, that's what pennants or flags are. They're stacked catalysts. You know, recent highs that are a little bit higher than this high and so on. This is still a very nice setup, so I want to watch this one tomorrow. Weight Watchers, WTW. You know, just the anomaly of this volume spike compared to the last couple weeks, and it's got nice support below. There might be something up there, so I'm going to throw it on a chart. ALJ had, excuse me, a nice pop on Monday, and then a nice inside day closing near Monday's high on Tuesday. So that's a pretty good setup for a third day play. And then lastly, CLVS, a very nice pop here, and then flagging. So this one's really interesting. Certainly over 25 and maybe over today's high of 24.58. Knowing that, speaking of stacked catalysts, knowing that if it gets through today's high, which was 24.57, that it might give it enough momentum to rip through the high of 24.96 right here, and then just maybe rip. So it's a handsome setup. So the numbers I'm going to put in my notes are 24.58 and then 25.01. Both potential catalysts. All right, we'll also look for some gappers in the morning, and we'll be watching this list very closely as the day unfolds tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.